In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the C3 Friday Free-for-All. I am your host, Cody Lashney, co-host of the C3 Podcast. Once again, bringing you a show by the fans, for the fans. If you're a Carolina Panther fan with an opinion, you are allowed to come on this show and share it. If you would like, in the link to the description box of the YouTube video, there is a link to join the show. Also in the link to the YouTube chat, you can also find a link to join there. Come on Streamyard, and you can be a part of this discussion. I am once again joined by my Friday free-for-all brethren. They're here every Friday. You know them and love them, because these are the guys that are always courageous enough to come on YouTube and the internet and holler at your boy about the Carolina Panthers. You've come to know them and love them. Let's start with my guy, Nick. Nick, what's up, brother?
What up, man? Had to go break out the JC Horn jersey. You know, it's we're getting down to the wire. We're coming up on the draft, and man, I cannot wait to see JC Horn play next year.
Yeah, man, there's videos of him training already, looking good, getting back into health. It's going to be a very exciting season for all of these Panther players, man. We have a lot of new additions that I'm sure we're going to continue to talk about too. And we're going to do it with my man Kevin Boshoven. Kevin, what's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just chilling, waiting to talk some Panther football and shoot the shit.
Dope, man. I love it. Dude, that's the best answer available. Just be here to shoot the shit, man. That's all we're doing. Hanging out, talking Panther football. But this is going to be a fascinating conversation today. It's going to be very quarterback centered. I just want to give everybody a warning now. I want all the strong opinions on the Panthers quarterback position, no matter what you think it is. Yeah, I want all the smoke, man. I want someone to sell me on their best vision for the Carolina Panthers quarterback spot this season. We got my man Kenneth in the building. Panther Pickle, what's up, bro?
Hey guys, what's up? Got in a little discussion earlier about Kyle Murray, and I'll just say it here. Kyle Murray is not an elite quarterback. He is a good quarterback. There is no base of reality that says he is an elite quarterback.
And that's something we're going to talk about too. He opened up as a minus 500 favorite to be the potential trade partner if the Panthers are the favorite. Yeah, plus 500 favorite. Pardon me, to be the Panthers to be traded to the Panthers. So that's a whole other discussion in and of itself. I'm happy to see Kenneth has a very strong opinion on it, but we'll certainly get into that a little more. Next, we have my man Alex. What's going on, bro?
What's going on? Happy Friday, fellas. I'm excited to talk about this quarterback carousel we got going on, and I'm still on the Cam Newton train. I still think we got to build that O-line, and I think we got to bring this guy back. I mean, Scott Fitterer today talked a little bit about it, so I'm sure we'll talk about it here today.
Yeah. Scott Fitterer speaking to the media early today, gave a lot of insights on their thoughts on this football team, and basically that they're a quarterback away. And that's the whole point of this discussion today is, what is the way forward for the Panthers in finding their next franchise quarterback? Next, my man Drew, looking like he's coming straight out of the Blair Witch Project. What's up, brother?
Nothing much, fellas. Nothing much. As I said, out here in my shed trying to find a few things. But looking forward to another great Friday night. Enjoyed the Fitterer interview today. At least it wasn't Matt Rule. I mean, Matt Rule interview, I just can't even stomach at this point. But Fitterer had some good things to say, so I was glad to hear it. And he said some things that just kind of made me just shake my head a little bit. So it's going to be a nice conversation to have tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Fitterer has kind of started to become more of an open book, I feel like. And now, I'm not comparing him to Dave Gettleman, but I feel like Dave Gettleman in his interviews always did a good job of talking about his thought process and how they're building the football team. And I feel like Fitterer has kind of grown into that more. And if you listen to him, he does drop some pretty meaningful bits of information about what they feel like when it comes to team building and going forward. I firmly believe Matt Rule is more in charge. I mean, not Matt Rule, but Fitterer is more in charge of this organization than he ever has been, pretty much. But once again, one last person to introduce here, our man 89, Jay Stubbs. Jay Stubbs, what's going on, brother?
What's up, everyone? How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Chilling.
Good. How about you?
Good, doing good, man. This whole QB thing, I just want to draft Malik and bring Cam back, whether it be half the year.
I just want to get a
or
quarterback
year.
so we can stop talking about it.
Yeah, man. Hey, have you beaten Elden Ring yet? I see you've been going hard on that.
Who, me?
No, Jay Stubbs.
Yeah, bro. I have beat it. That shit was hard as hell.
I haven't even played it.
Yeah, it sounds like
You hear
it
me?
was. Yeah, you're good. And then last but definitely not least, number one in your heart, number one in your program, none other than Tony Dunn joining us from the road. I think this is a
road in the truck. Just here to, I guess, claim our glory.
Yeah, that's right. C3 Panther glory. That's all that there is to it, baby. Fantastic sunset from the looks of it on Tony's end. So, hey, it's a great day for a Friday free-for-all, man.
Tony, are you going to bail out Shi Smith?
Yeah,
He's going to pick up his tutus.
I'm on my way to get Cody's favorite player, who told, again, another example of why Demir Bird better than all these fools.
Oh, no, he's done meant that already. But listen, if you have not done so already, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe. Help us grow C3 Panther Nation. And once again, if you would like to join the show and actually join the conversation here with us in the Streamyard, the link is in the description box to the YouTube video and to the Facebook video. Gentlemen, let's jump right into it, man. So many different quarterbacks are seemingly in the mix for the Carolina Panthers after listening to Scott Fitterer do his interview this morning. And he, essentially left the door open for Sam Darnold to potentially be the starter, which I personally don't believe. But Cam Newton is a further continued option for the Panthers. And they also didn't shut down that they might be willing to draft a quarterback as well. There's so many different opinions to this, and none of them seem to be wrong. Like, you can make a legitimate case for so many different things. Who wants to go first on the direction that the Panthers are going to go, specifically related to quarterback in this year's draft? And we're going to let Tony go first. Tony,
I want to go first because I only got a minute because I'm carting around children. My kid's birthday party. I got one kid at the skating rink, kids at my birthday party. So here's what I got to say. I had never in my life seen an organization so openly unhappy with the guy that they got as their quarterback for the moment, and that being Sam Darnold. They just said this, is that we want another quarterback. We don't know who he is, but we want another quarterback. So much so that when they asked about the fallout from the Deshaun Watson mess, and they said, well, because you got Baker Mayfield got his feelings hurt, you got Matt Ryan got his feelings hurt, they were like, did you call Sam Darnold? And Matt Fitt was like, nah, nope. And he was like this. He said, I ain't got no reason to call him, basically. And then he almost made it sound like Sam Darnold should call him and apologize. Like, it is crazy. The Panthers, they just want somebody else. They just came to the party. It would be like if I went on the podcast and said, you know what? My marriage sucks. I don't know if I want, she's either got to get better at being a wife or I got to find a better wife. It is bad, bro. It is fucking bad. And in some ways, I just think this is that, like, they're desperate. They're so desperate to get a QB that they will do it anyway, anyhow. And I can't see them passing on a quarterback in the draft. And if they do, again, Matt Rule is done, which he might be anyway. And my last point is just this. Kyler Murray, are we in the mix for that?
I hope not. Oh, no.
Not for no $50 million, bro. I'm not paying $50 million.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Kyler Murray. But, I wouldn't mind Kyler Murray, but you know, he ain't getting a pay raise right now. I'm sorry.
He wants $50 million a year, bro.
Yeah, and he ain't worth that. There's nowhere I just had it over here. He's been in the league since 2018. Okay. 2019, excuse me. In 2019,
we beat him every year, don't we?
Yeah, in 2019, he went 5-10-1 in the Cardinals. In 2020, they went 6-10. In 2021, he went 11-6. They made it to his first playoff game, and he looked like he wasn't interested and looked like dog crap. And he's going to say, "I want a raise." What the hell? You know, he don't get a raise just because you show up.
And,
he actually got to do something.
That's one of the one of the criticisms around Kyler Murray is people are like, wondering, does he love football? Is he worth that kind of money? And from what I saw, this is what sparked that conversation that Kyler Murray is plus 500 to be the next quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. And yeah, I mean, personally, I kind of agree with the sentiments that Kenneth just echoed. I mean, if you're talking about a proven commodity, then maybe, to play devil's advocate, I don't think anyone on the current Panthers squad has the pure physical talent, the game-changing talent that Kyler Murray represents. But at the end of the day, you're trading for another player on a very short contract who doesn't want to play for the contract that he's currently under. And I just think that might be, a little too rich for the Carolina Panthers at this time. I think there was a difference between the kind of production that you saw from for example, Deshaun Watson, who was a proven commodity even in the playoffs, versus Kyler Murray, who just kind of hasn't proven any of that yet. So I don't know. I don't know where this comes from. Is anyone in favor of this? I mean, how many of you would just prefer to have Kyler Murray starting the season just because, he was the once upon a time first pick in the draft, an incredible runner of the football? Like, who among you would like to have Kyler Murray as the quarterback?
I'd rather have him than Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as talent-wise, yeah, he's obviously the best quarterback that if he were to be on our team, he'd be the best quarterback. But
remember, though, he wants $50 million a year. That's why he don't want to be in Arizona. He wants the contract. That's
right.
Why
the cap talk is not a real thing, though.
Right now, he makes about $11.3 million.
Yeah, and then Scott Fitterer said he doesn't want to he wants to drop inside. He would rather have a quarterback young on a rookie salary contract than
he basically said it today. He said that he wanted the ideal situation is to build with a rookie quarterback. He basically told him what he wanted to do.
And what? Kyle Murray's got talent. He does got talent. I mean, I don't deny that. But having physical talent and mental awareness is two different things. He's not mentally aware of the scenario he's in.
I just hope Evan Neal's there, so we ain't gotta worry about the quarterback.
That would be nice. That would be nice, but I think there's two tackles they like, Ekwonu and Neal. I believe those are the two they really like. And
I mean, we all agree if Evan Neal's there, we got to take him, right? I mean,
absolutely.
We're all in agreement about that.
Cody's not.
Well, I mean, no, we're not all in agreement because it depends on what we do in free agency. And that's why I wanted to talk about this discussion today, is because, okay, if the Panthers are going to go into free agent market, that means that they're trading assets to acquire a player under a current contract. This applies for Baker Mayfield. This applies for Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think they're cutting Baker.
But this applies for maybe they haven't done it yet. I don't think the Browns are just going to refuse to get any value for Baker Mayfield.
They can get something.
They're going to do something. But I mean, listen, even if you like Tony and you want Gardner Minshew, you have to understand now you're going to be talking about trading assets and values for a player that is under contract for another football team. That's why I think Kyler Murray is the most interesting amongst these names as a legitimate franchise quarterback. So Jay Stubbs, if for whatever reason, if the Panthers went and drafted or traded for Kyler Murray, then I would be okay with taking a left tackle. But the fact of the matter is that no matter what the Panthers do, let's say they sign Cam Newton, which I'm sure we're going to talk about that here in a minute. I know Alex wants that. I'm a fan of that as well. Ooh. But if you're the Panthers organization, do you really just go forward with Cam Newton and Sam Darnold as the starting quarterbacks for the Carolina Panthers? Because I really don't see a scenario where anyone would think that would be an okay lineup. I think that they are still very likely to either draft Kenny Pickett out of Pitt or Malik Willis out of Liberty at that number 6 pick. They are desperate for a quarterback, and there aren't too many other options. So
they try to go to Denver with Corral.
Say one more time.
They try to take Matt Corral to dinner.
I mean, dude.
I really don't believe that. I heard what they said. Oh, we tried to contact.
Dude, they might like him, bro. They might like trading back and still getting him.
You know what? They didn't attend his pro day. They had the regular scout attend the pro day.
I think we're going to make an offer for Tyler.
Yeah, but they saw him at the senior game or whatever it is, the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
So.
No, you know what? I might have had that backward.
They went to Matt Corral's pro day. They didn't go to Ritter.
Yeah, I had that. Ritter is the one they didn't go to. I did have that backward.
I think they like him, Cody. I think they're going to try to trade back and get two things at once.
I think they're trading for Kyler because Tepper has a hard on for elite quarterback.
$50 million a year, bro. That's a lot of money.
We don't care.
One thing. Look
what we were going to give Watson.
He's going to want fully guaranteed too. I bet you.
Murray? Who?
Yeah.
Murray?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
how much you think it would cost in a trade?
How much we're going to give up? I don't see Tepper doing that. That'd be that. For honestly, he has the same record, almost the same record as Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Kenneth, he's never beat him.
Every year, he had one good year.
Every year we beat
has a great record.
Do we not? Do we not beat him every time we play that dude? I feel like we run him off the field.
But also
he didn't play this year.
That doesn't matter who.
But the year before, that,
the Panthers, I feel like for the past couple of years, we beat the Cardinals no matter who their quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's our team. We just smash every time.
Yeah,
Josh Allen lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. That doesn't mean anything.
I'm saying like he should be beating us, bro. We haven't been good in 2 years.
Kyle Murray,
you know what I'm saying?
Seem like he really.
In all fairness, he wasn't the one who played us last year.
I mean, the Vikings have been beating the Packers.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
Right. There's a difference between a quarterback who's a quarterback of a football team and a true franchise quarterback.
And it's weird. And I know we don't play him a lot, but I feel like we beat Houston all the time too. It's just one of them things where we just.
I mean,
two guys we want to trade for, we always beat them.
Arizona really only has one receiver.
Houston, Jacksonville.
That's really good.
We're in a weird spot, but I think just because we only have that 6th pick, and then we have to wait a while for our next pick. So we're in a weird spot where they might trade back. I don't think they will. I think Cody's right. I think they're gonna take a quarterback there because we're in dire need of a quarterback.
I'm hoping that they can sign a left tackle. If they can sign a left, which I'm with Cody. I think that Christensen can play left tackle, but it seems like this organization does not believe in him. That's my 2 cents. It seems like they just don't want him to play left tackle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like Christian. I think Christian can be a good starting left tackle. I really do. But I just think O'Neill's talent level is much higher than the quarterbacks. But that goes without saying. Now, but that's just my opinion. But
now, Cody, is next year's quarterback class like it's stacked, right?
Yeah.
So it is, but no matter who you look at right now, if it's Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, you have to understand that the Panthers. Well, hey man, give him another year.
No.
I'll do what I want. I'm the captain of this ship, damn it. But no, I will say this though. Okay, let's say there's a really good quarterback or 2 of them that come out next year. The Panthers aren't guaranteed to even be in position to actually draft any of those guys. Like they're not guaranteed to be long enough. So when I hear fans that are like, yeah, just wait to draft a quarterback next year. Maybe, but I mean the free agent options, they're so bad the Panthers have refused to make one outside of doing this incredible quest for Deshaun Watson. So it doesn't seem to me like the Panthers as an organization are very sold on what they do see out there in a Jimmy Garoppolo or a Baker Mayfield.
That's good because
who else?
Hey, Cody,
I want them to get cut.
Cody, I want to say something too about that. If they don't make a move for one of them guys, I'm thinking they learned their lesson, but trying to get these mediocre quarterback quick fixes because
you know what
just stick with Sam. If you don't trade for Baker, don't trade for Jimmy. Just stick with what I'm saying. Just go ahead and stick with Sam if you're going to do that.
Yeah, and real quick, let me add my man KB to the conversation, joining us from his car as good a place as any. KB, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's up, guys? What's up? I'm enjoying the stream so far, man. Y'all brought up some good points. Hey, I'm not gonna be in here very long. I gotta go. I would like to comment on the Fitterer press conference today.
Yeah, man.
Hey, so I know also. I'm telling you what. So if you go back, Fitterer was interviewed during the combine, right? He talked about OL and quarterback and how there were a lot of OLs and quarterbacks, and he keeps saying, he said 3 times in particular in this press conference he didn't want to tip our hand. He didn't want to give out too much information. The only thing really new we learned was that we're interested in a premier edge rusher. I mean, this was the first press conference today where he said edge rusher in the same breath as quarterback and OL. I'm not trying to get conspiratorial or anything, but I think it's
bring it, man. Bring it. I have my 10-foot hat, bro.
As much as Fitterer is a finesser in the draft and free agency, I tend to believe that we're going to go with Brady Christensen at left tackle. I think we're going to ride Sam Darnold out on his last year. And if we go quarterback, it will not be our first pick. It will be our second. I think what Fitterer wants is for teams to get quarterback hungry, talk up the quarterbacks, talk up the OL, but not anybody in particular. I think we'll trade down from 6. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's what they want to do, is trade down from 6. But I would not be surprised if Pickett, for some reason, or Ritter in particular, was to fall past 20 into the close to the 30s, that we would trade back up in the first round to get the quarterback that we want, whether it's Ritter or Pickett. So you could see a scenario where we trade back in the top 20, get best player available, possibly an edge rusher, and then whatever picks we got, probably we'll have a second round that we got from trade down from 6. Use that second round to trade back up into the first amongst a bunch of other picks or players to get our quarterback with a 5th-year option. A lot of guys are saying, "Oh, we'll get a quarterback in the second or third round." Well, if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you want to make sure you get that fifth-year option by trading back into the first?
Right. And to your point, KB, out of that press conference with Fitterer, he did come out and say that the way that you build a modern NFL team is to essentially draft a young quarterback.
Right.
Eventually, he even said this: you have to gamble, and that means sometimes you're going to miss when you gamble, but you have to swing big, and the Panthers are prepared to swing big. This is what I'm telling you, that I believe Scott Fitterer is more in control of this organization than Matt Rule. I really do think he's been given the reins on this. But you mentioned another good point, KB. For the first time today, he really did put an emphasis on defensive end. Now, this kind of says to me that they might be looking to add another free agent guy as a defensive end to bring in. I don't know who is all still available defensive end wise. But that does make it an interesting conversation, because you do have, guys like Kayvon Thibodeau who are all of a sudden being undervalued by the draft media, saying he doesn't have a good work ethic, saying that he isn't a high motor kind of player. So, and then maybe even Trayvon Walker out of Georgia as well. That's another big, powerful defensive end that a lot of people think is going to be better in the NFL than he was playing at Georgia, because they kind of didn't really use him correctly there. So,
or Jordan Davis.
Yeah, but see, to me, Jordan Davis is a little bit too much like Derek Brown.
I really don't want Jordan Davis. I don't know disrespect to him, but
that would be a crazy.
We've had that before though, and we still needed edge help, or we still needed a good defensive end. You know, when we had Starr and KK, they were great in the middle. They really was.
But they would have played 3-4 though, man.
Yeah. Well,
that's a good point too. And I do think that he emphasized that with the Turgros Matos. They want YGM and Marquise Haynes to kind of continue to, play that traditional hand in the dirt 4-3 defensive end. And I also think they really do expect YGM to take a jump too. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Cody. He needs to play.
Yeah.
These guys need to play.
Nixon too. Davian Nixon's in the mix, and then we just signed that free agent from the Commanders.
Nixon was impressive last year.
True. Yeah.
But, so I don't think it would be tackle. I think if anything, they're gonna, and I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna leave and let you guys comment. I'll listen on the side, but I think we're either gonna go quarterback at 6, which honestly I don't want to. I'd rather trade down. I think you could get another quarterback later in the draft, and just rip the Band-Aid off Sam Darnold. If you can't get rid of Sam Darnold, I mean, you might as well just use him, because at least he is somewhat of a veteran. And this is another thing too. Dude, everybody's saying, "Oh, well, if you don't get a quarterback now, there's no chance, that you'll get one of the quarterbacks next year." Well, wait. Then, if that's the case, I mean, to get a good quarterback next year, you need to have a pretty high draft pick, right? High in the draft, right?
10.
Well, I thought Sam Darnold sucked. I thought Sam Darnold was the worst thing on earth. So if he was our starting quarterback, hypothetically, we would lose a whole lot of games. So what you're essentially saying is that Sam Darnold is good enough to get us 5 or 6, 7 wins.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Is our roster not improved enough to basically guarantee us 2 additional wins with the talent that we have? I mean, am I crazy to believe that Sam Darnold can get us maybe 8, 9 wins?
This is my counterpoint to that before you go, and you make a good point there. But I think that Matt Rule and David Tepper and Scott Fitterer are very aware of what you just said, is that if you put Sam Darnold out as the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, we're picking top 10 again next year. Matt Rule is on such a short leash. There is no way that the decision makers in this building are going to let Sam Darnold be the starting quarterback next season, no matter what Fitterer tells you about the quarterback competition.
Cody, that's true.
I just really don't see that happening. Like in a perfect world, maybe that happens, but Matt Rule knows that his job is on the line. There's no way that he's just going to let Sam Darnold continue to be that gamble for his career here in Charlotte. So I agree with you, but I think that the Panthers ownership also agrees with you. Therefore, they don't want to let that.
I think Fitterer has more control of the draft now. I think I don't. Fitt's not loyal to Rule. Rule has to basically follow Fitt. I think Fitt. I know everybody says, "Oh, Rule has the personnel decisions and all this and that," but I think Fitt has more power now. He's the one doing the press conferences. Yeah. He's the one doing the evaluations. And everything. I think he has more control. I think there's been an obvious effort to put him in the spotlight and him in front of the media this year. This is one, and that's what I would do. And also what I believe is that Fitt is basically trying to surround Sam Darnold with the most talent possible, whether you draft an elite player at 6 or you trade down and get more picks, but you're going to surround Sam and basically give Sam and Matt Rule no excuse to fail. And when they both fail, you let them both go at the same time. And at least at that point, you have weapons all across the offense and defense, and all you need to fill is a head coach and a quarterback. I mean, at all, right? I mean, that's all you got to fill. Yeah. But at least you're starting somewhat fresh, and you would probably be in a good position to draft high next year. That's kind of what I believe. I think they're trying to give them a reason, no reason to make any excuses. But I'm not going to hop off, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Hey, dude, I appreciate the content, KB. Fantastic questions, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. And to KB's point, real quick, a lot of people do feel that way. I see a lot of people that want to do just that. It's like, well, let's just suffer one more year. Next year's a better quarterback draft class. Let's kind of kick that can down the road. And I just think that Matt Rule and David Tepper are just they're not quite willing to let that happen. But go ahead, Kevin.
Did the San Francisco 49ers have a top 10 pick when they got Trey Lance? Or did they trade up and get him?
They were at 12.
They traded all the way up.
Yeah, they traded up to 2.
We can do that.
If 3.
I hear you. It still comes down to the. I mean, and listen.
Well, you gotta have somebody willing to trade with you.
Yeah, if you've been following the C3 podcast, you know that I am not adverse to trading up if there's a player that you want that completes your football team.
I agree,
especially if it's a quarterback. But it goes back to that same thing, though. Like when you look at the timetables. I don't think anyone in this organization wants to wait another year for this to play out.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think you're either talking about a trade or you're talking about drafting one. Go ahead, J Stubbs.
So, I know, I get the sense that you want us to draft Malik Willis, right?
As of right now, with all the options that we're being presented with, yeah, I'm kind of. And you agree he's going to
sit a year, right?
I do think that would be the optimal plan, but he might be required to step up a little faster than normal. But I also, again, though, and this opens it up to the next part of the conversation, Alex mentioned it earlier, it doesn't seem like they hate the idea of signing Cam Newton to another season of football. And another
plan, bro.
I think it was interesting.
Yeah, go ahead, Kenneth.
I think it was interesting when Tepper was asked about contacting Cam. He said, I haven't, but Matt has. I thought that was very interesting that Matt Rule's been contacted. But, I like that idea. I don't like passing the buck to next year. I know that seems to be the popular way, but you pass the buck to next year, there's always something going to happen. Something's going to you don't know what's going to happen next year. And I don't like waiting till next year. If you have a quarterback there that you like, that you're willing to spend a first-round pick for, and you think he can start, get him. If you have a high draft pick next year, that's next year. You remember Arizona Cardinals drafted 2 quarterbacks to back-to-back. Yeah. And with the amount that some of these backup quarterbacks are making, I have absolutely no fear of drafting 2 quarterbacks in the first round and let them compete, because at the very least, you're going to have somebody's going to be able to get traded at the very least.
Cody as well.
That was a fantastic point, man.
I think they want Cam to come back, but it seems like he's like, I'm good right now. That's what it seems like.
I think that's why Matt Rule called him. I think the team knows that the issue is not necessarily between Cam and Scott or Cam and Dave. I think it's between Cam and Matt. So I think the team knew that the only way that they might be able to smooth things over is if Matt Rule called him himself. Or at least if I was Cam, that's what I would want.
Yeah,
I'm not talking to anybody until I talk to the person who I have the issue with.
I got a question.
Can I kind of put forth this though? To me, it's how much. So okay, if you're Cam Newton, if you signed right now, this would be the longest offseason that you have had with the football team in the past 2 years. He didn't get the luxury of having a real involved offseason before he signed with the Patriots. He damn sure didn't get to have one last year either. I'm wondering about Cam Newton, who obviously has not played very good football in quite a while. And I can say that as an abashed, Cam Newton super fan.
He's still better than Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask y'all this question.
Let me get this out though. Cam Newton. How many options does he legitimately have right now to go and play football? Like, look at what I was saying earlier. Look at the quarterback market as it is right now. Baker Mayfield, Jimmy Garoppolo, then a bunch of other guys that we know they're not on the move. Maybe Kyler Murray's out there. Then you throw around Cam Newton's name. It's like, who knows how many opportunities Cam Newton is guaranteed to have. Maybe if you're Cam Newton, you look at an opportunity to come back. They're going to draft. They're probably going to draft a rookie quarterback, but you'll have the opportunity to be the starter and a much improved offensive line with now Austin Corbett and Bradley Bozeman being a part of it. So, is there any thought process to
run the football, baby? That's what he wants to do, right?
Yeah, and he does not want the Taysom Hill role. He wants to be a starting quarterback, and he doesn't want to be a backup to Sam Darnold or a rookie or anybody else.
Well, I think he doesn't want to be a backup for a team that's probably only going to win, maybe 7 games that matter. So it's kind of like if he's going to back up somewhere, he's going to back up on a team that has a chance to go pretty far. So that's why I think that's where it's a little
Tampa
tricky. So, but in my case, I want to ask a question about Matt Rule. How many wins does he need for him to stay?
Playoffs, bro.
That's up to David Tepper.
Playoffs.
That's up to David Tepper.
9.
So depending on how competitive,
I don't think David Tepper fires him.
Depending on how competitive the division is about to be, which I think we all know the favorite is Tampa Bay, of course. But if the division is down and the Panthers are maybe, I think they have to be at least in contention for a wild card spot at the end of the season. And then even that might not be enough. I think you're right. You have to make a legitimate playoff push, or you have to make the playoffs for Matt Rule to be extended too. But what are the chances that happens with either Sam Darnold, Cam Newton, or a rookie quarterback? Right. And that's what the question is, because if you're looking at Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, there's a lot of downside and upside to both of their film. So which one, if you did draft them, do you believe in more to be able to potentially step up on a moment's notice and play good football this year? A lot of moving parts to this offseason, man.
Yeah.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Malik Willis, he's so impressive with his leadership, bro.
Isn't he
crazy, dude?
He's like a baby Cam Newton.
It's
crazy. That's what I'm saying, man. Everyone last year was calling Justin Fields baby Cam. Nah, he really wasn't, man. Malik Willis is baby Cam Newton, from the running style to his arm talent. And personally, man, I really do think, when you look at Malik Willis and his, what everyone says about him being a leader and wanting to learn and get better at football, I think he would love a season to sit under Cam Newton, learn from Cam Newton, and see how he's been able to do it for, a decade or more here in Carolina. And then you pass the reins to him next year, just like the San Francisco 49ers are about to do with Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Straight up, if people think that Justin Fields is the baby Cam Newton, he is the Cam Newton that you would get from the dollar store. He is the Cam Newton that your mom says that we have at home. Okay.
I'm not impressed by Justin Fields this year or last year. I don't see why everybody's all hyped on how we should have drafted him.
Well, again, a lot of those.
We'll see what happens this year.
Too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: Do you think that any of those guys would have had a better chance on the Panthers?
Mm-mm.
No chance.
But would you still rather have them than not?
No.
I mean, you saw Justin get sacked like 5 times one game, bro, or 9 times one game. It would have been worse with us.
I think our offensive line's a lot better this year than last year.
Oh, it's gonna be night and day, bro.
Yeah, it will be, and
we're gonna be able to run the ball.
The reason why I don't like them 2 options, honestly, the Jimmy G and the Mayfield. Number one is Jimmy G's just an injury waiting to happen. He just is. He's just there's absolutely no reason, and he's 30-some years old. I've seen Jake Delhomme and I've seen Cam Newton both come out with shoulder injuries, and they don't get healed up for a couple of years. Jake's never did get healed up, and he was 30-plus years old.
Jake was an elbow.
No reason. Well, he had surgery.
Tommy John.
And Garoppolo didn't have the arm talent that Cam Newton did, but even before the
surgery.
Or even Jake did.
There's absolutely no reason at all that gives me any proof that Jimmy G is going to be healthy. I mean, absolutely none. Now, Baker Mayfield.
Well, it's kind of the same with him, too, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, Baker Mayfield was hurt a bunch this year.
Now, I would do a Baker Mayfield trade with the Browns just because to get rid of Sam. But let me understand something. Let me understand something. Well, he ain't going to get it. It's going to be a player-for-player swap. I can trade one idiot for another idiot and have a different idiot in a building. One idiot good as another idiot. I can have one beat-up tackling dummy as good as the next beat-up tackling dummy.
I don't know, man. I can't watch him suck for us and then watch his all fucking commercials.
You know what? Sam sucks. But if I was head coach, personally, if I was Scott Fitterer, I'd just cut Sam Darnold and be done with that. That's me, though. That's what I would do.
Here's the deal, though. But here's the deal, though. And this is, I said this on the Tuesday night show. If you trade for Baker Mayfield, you're trading for an identical contract that you're currently paying to Sam Darnold. It's for the same amount of time. And by the way, it's that same 5th-year option that they're both under. Like, these are the two out of all the big quarterbacks that were drafted in 2018. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are the bust. And for the Panthers to be trying to juggle between them and choose between the two, it's embarrassing to me, honestly.
Yeah, doesn't that sound like a Panther move?
Yes,
no, David Tepper thinks he can take something that's low and make it high. This is not stocks, bro. This is NFL football. You know.
Let me ask this, man. Let me ask this, and this is to anyone in the chat room. Again, link in the description if you want to join the conversation. The link is in the description box of the YouTube video. Come and be a part of the conversation. But specifically on this next topic, is there anyone that doesn't want to bring Cam Newton back? That doesn't want to see? So, for example, Tony is of the mindset that no matter how much we used to love Cam Newton, he probably isn't physically where he used to be. And if it goes bad, once again, you're dealing with the entire fan base and all of the lame critics dumping all the hate right back on Cam Newton like it's always been. So a lot of fans don't even want to go through that again. And some people just don't trust Cam Newton to make all the plays at 32, 33 years of age. Is there anyone who doesn't want Cam Newton to be a part of the team going forward for whatever reason?
I can understand Tony's argument, but I want Cam back. I want Cam, and I want us to draft Malik.
That's exactly what I want too.
That's what I want to do too. I mean, and you're not.
But I know it's going to be expensive.
And Malik can start midway through the season if he has to. You know what I'm saying?
I want to take a tackle and then get Cam.
That'll work too.
I'm even okay with that.
I tend to agree a little bit that Cam's lost. Cam's not who Cam used to be.
He can still run the ball though, bro.
Yeah, and he can, but he can, but he shouldn't. Not on an everyday, regular basis.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But
he's starting to be slow like Greg Olsen.
Yeah, with this offensive line, he should be a little bit better. It'll give him a little bit more time in the pocket.
He doesn't have to be old.
We as an organization and the fan base, to a large extent, need to stop thinking Cam Newton's going to come in here and pick this team up on his shoulders and carry us in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that man's just can't do it anymore, and it's unfair to expect him to do that.
I mean, that man came back off 3 days practice.
Yeah,
called out
part of it is like he came off the couch. He came off the couch last year. He didn't even he didn't have an off season. He
never looked like the old Cam Newton when he was in New England.
He had COVID, bro.
All right, whatever you want to believe,
entirely different.
Whatever you want to believe.
Well, can I say this? I think two things can be true. Cam, for the past 2 seasons, like I said earlier, has not been under ideal circumstances with the amount of off-season time and getting COVID, not being on good rosters, not having good offensive line. Like, all of those things were true for Cam Newton. Yeah, but it's also true that Cam left some plays on the field too. So both of these things, they're both kind of true. My thing is how much better could Cam Newton be if you actually did give him all of those things that I just mentioned, a legitimate offseason, a better offensive line that, by the way, has Christian McCaffrey back in the fold, his number one safety blanket, and you've added Devontae Foreman to be a much more powerful runner between the A gaps and B gaps. You don't have to depend on Cam Newton that much to begin with.
He stays healthy too. I mean, that's a big.
And the fact that since you're not going to have to depend on Cam Newton that much, it's like, come on, who would you rather take a bet on, Cam Newton or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Exactly.
Because in my mind, I'd rather bet on Cam Newton over Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo. Like the only quarterback that in my mind is an undenied upgrade at the quarterback position might potentially be Kyler Murray, just because he's so young and so dynamic as an athlete. But even then, it's not an ideal situation.
Bro, if we go with Kyler Murray, it's the same thing that I've been saying about Deshaun. We are selling the farm to get the cow.
Yep.
Yeah. And paying him fully guaranteed contract, probably.
I was actually so bummed that that Cam Newton got cut by New England, because I actually thought he had a good preseason. I mean, besides he didn't get poked, but
and I drafted him to my dynasty league.
I thought he had a great preseason. I thought he was gonna have a good season.
I think they cut Cam Newton for just what Cam said in his podcast. They cut him because they knew Mac Jones was going to start, and they didn't want the personality of Cam Newton looking over his shoulder.
It wasn't a bad move. I mean, Mac Jones is
and there are certain quarterbacks. There are certain young quarterbacks who can handle that.
I think
Malik Willis, I think, honestly, could handle that. He really could.
Yep. And by the way, I wanted to say this again. Well, go ahead, Kenneth. I'll let you finish it.
I'm not trying to say I don't like Cam Newton and I don't want Cam Newton over the other guys. I'm just saying, if Cam comes here, I want him to do the better offense than they had before. Don't in every passing you down or in every short yardage down, let's not give it to number one. Every time you get in the zone, if one don't get that touchdown, it ain't gonna happen. We've got other guys. Let them do their job. If they can't do their job, they don't need to be here. Bring somebody else in that will do their job.
Well, I like that. I like that Ben McAdoo. I think he does a lot of his offenses, running the ball, play action. I think that's good. I think that's good for Cam Newton. I think it works real well for him, and especially his style right now. So, I mean, I think it could work out. I just think he needs a full off season. He's healthy. Just give him a full off season. What do we have to lose for 1 year? I mean, it's 1 year.
Yeah,
they're not going to win anything.
And by the way, I wanted to make this point too, man. And listen, but okay, whenever you're a draft analyst, like Chris Sims or any of these guys that get paid to make takes on these prospects, and even for that matter, NFL general managers. Like, there's an aspect of gambling to drafting these guys. I mean, it's like, for example, we've just gotten past this whole Deshaun Watson situation, right? And up until Deshaun had those accusations come out against him, everything that you ever heard about him was that he was a stand-up guy, an incredible citizen, all these different things, right? So when you're evaluating Deshaun, you never think, anything crazy is going to happen with these guys, right? So it's always a gamble no matter who you draft. With that said, there are certain traits that you tend to bet on when you're projecting into the future. And what I'm here to tell you is that Malik Willis, as a prospect, even though he isn't as tall, even though he doesn't weigh as much, I'm telling you that Malik Willis has a very similar evaluation to Justin Herbert, in my opinion. He was in a very bad offense with a very bad offensive scheme, with very bad offensive weapons, with really a type of offense that asked him to either go to the first read or take off and try and run with the football. Now, I don't know that Malik Willis will be able to have the kind of jump that Justin Herbert took when going from college to the NFL. But when you hear people talk about his high IQ, he scored a 32 on his Wonderlic, the kind of teammate that he is, I just don't foresee Malik Willis having a hard time picking up the complexities of an NFL playbook. I really don't. So there's no guarantee that, if you draft Malik Willis, maybe if Sam doesn't work out or Cam Newton doesn't work out, who knows? Maybe you're able to put him in and all of a sudden Malik Willis is more ready for the NFL stage than people thought that he was. I'm just saying that would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to say about it.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, let me add my man Fred to the stream. Fred, what's going on, brother? Happy you're joining us again.
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks since I was on here last.
Yeah, man, a whole lot has happened.
I don't like a lot of the stuff that's happened, but that's because I'm a Patriots fan, unfortunately, at this point.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Come over to the dark side.
No, that's never going to happen.
Come on, man. The water's just fine. I did it.
Yeah, man. But no, I think, that's why I said to start this off, the Panthers, their quarterback conversation, all answers are good answers at this point because they're just as likely to happen as any of the other ones. For even Kenny Pickett, man, all the connections between David Tepper and Pittsburgh and Matt Rule and Temple, it's like I could very easily see that being the pick as well if they fall in love with him. And, so he isn't my number one quarterback this year. I have Willis as my number one ranked quarterback just because of his upside and his intelligence, Not saying that, Pickett is dumb. But I do think that Kenny Pickett is a really good kind of undervalued prospect at this point. So the Panthers might love him and decide to draft him too. It's really anyone's guess at this point.
Cody, have you watched a lot of Kenny Pickett's games? The only thing that worries me about Kenny Pickett is his fumbling in bad weather. I don't really I care as much about his small hands as I do of Brady Christensen's short arms and the fact that Russell Wilson's not 6'6".
Okay.
I heard the crap about all of them why they can't play quarterback, and they end up playing pretty decent quarterback in my opinion. But Kenny Pickett, that's the one thing that worries me about his fumble.
And my thing is when you look at Kenny Pickett and his fumbles, a lot of it necessarily isn't from his hands being too small. It's from not having two hands on the football. And that's what you teach quarterbacks. That's why Trevor Lawrence was so highly touted. That that guy, he never took two hands off the football.
Okay.
Justin Herbert, never takes two hands off of the football. I think there are some technique things that Kenny Pickett can do to, assure that it isn't going to be a problem for him in the NFL.
Yeah.
And, I mean, let's be real. Like, if the guy can get away with throwing the football wearing gloves, then the guy wears gloves.
Yeah,
that's how the guy plays.
For years, I watched Jake Delhomme and quarterbacks before that always have two hands on the ball. We drafted Cam, bless his heart. I used to curse that man. He'd run down the field holding with one hand on that ball, and I put the other hand on it. But now, granted, his hands was huge anyway. So
exactly,
But nonetheless, as a fan, I can scream in my living room, and the only one's going to get upset about it is my wife and kid. So maybe the dog. So.
That's
straight up, Cody. Remember what I called in and said on Tuesday. Okay, try to pick up a brick with just your fingertips, and then try to pick up a brick with all of your fingers. It makes a big difference in how easy it is to handle that brick. Okay, same thing with hand size. You have small hands. It's a whole lot easier to fumble that football. Okay, just my 2 cents.
Let me ask you, do any of you think that will be and this is, there's no wrong answer here. Does anyone think that Kenny Pickett will not be successful in the NFL because his hands are too small?
I think he's got a lower floor and lower ceiling than everybody else. Than both, not only Willis, who's definitely got a higher floor and ceiling, but as opposed to even Corral, I think he's got a lower floor and a lower ceiling than Corral because of his hands.
Straight up, I'm going as far as to say that he's the next Sam Darnold.
As much as I like Willis, I don't really think he's going to be there at 6, y'all. I think the Steelers are going to find a way to trade up, and I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up with the Giants.
I actually think the Lions are taking him.
Yeah, me too.
That they could, but the one thing about the Lions is the Lions have major need on defense. But they also got the 32nd pick,
and 34th.
Which should give them a really good quarterback. But then, of course, if you add in that 5th-year options, it's probably smart for them to go with the 32nd pick with a quarterback. But like I said, if they love Willis that much, and during Willis's pro day, they had a scout there. They didn't have a bunch of other people there, but they could always bring him in for a visit.
No, that was Ritter. That was who was that? Cody?
Yeah, they had their
our whole front office was there, bro.
Well,
not for the Lions.
Not
for
the
Lions one.
Yeah, for the Lions.
Willis.
My bad.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the Panthers.
Yeah, me too.
And listen, that's the debate, right? So again, the narrative around this quarterback class is that a lot of these guys, whether it be their hand size, whether it be something on film, whether it be injuries like Matt Corral, and a lot of people forget too, Matt Corral, 205 pounds, 210 pounds. You're talking about a smaller guy than Lamar Jackson, probably a very little bit bigger than Kyler Murray. Matt Corral is not a big guy. So all of these quarterbacks have traits that the media at large is saying, well, you don't use a top 10 pick on a quarterback like this. And I don't know, it's a big time gamble. I think when you look at Josh Allen and his stats coming out of Wyoming and, the kind of small school that was compared to the SEC or whatever, I kind of think that if you're picking in the top 10, it's going to be an upside guy like Malik Willis. I genuinely think that the quarterback conversation starts with us unless someone's going to trade up for them. Like the Giants looking to trade back. Maybe Seattle trades up. Who knows?
Cody, what do you think of them taking Corral to lunch? Trying to.
Malik Willis is graded as a second-round talent.
So as far as the lunches thing, I think the Panthers are doing their due diligence, like they should. They should be trying to get to know these guys off the football field and do that kind of personality test and what kind of learners they are. And what kind of leaders are they, and all these different kinds of things that you don't necessarily get to know under normal circumstances.
I think they're going to try to get a left tackle and Corral.
Mike Tomlin took all three of the quarterbacks out for lunch or supper or dinner.
Dude, is Mike Tomlin not the coolest? Like if I'm an NFL player, there's one coach I would love to play for. It would be.
Right. It's hard to project. It's hard to project. Honestly, yes, they love Willis, and if they trade up, we know that's their spot. But it's hard to really project which quarterback that they like the most because he's took all of them out.
One thing for sure, bro, Malik Willis, his stock, he made millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's going up. Especially if the Panthers draft him in the top 10.
Ritter had just as good of a throw, but it wasn't really advertised that much.
Yep, you're right.
Is Neal, if Neal and Willis are like available on the board, are we?
I'm taking Neal.
You're taking Neal.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
If you don't know,
truthfully, no. Oh wow! I hope that don't happen. What a good
Evan Neal is like,
that's a good situation.
I turn around and say, "Hey, y'all, what you want?"
That is a win-win, though.
I mean,
I will say this
right there:
if you can't pick between a tackle or a quarterback, you're picking the tackle.
So let me ask y'all this: if you're
tackle can go number one.
We've had a franchise quarterback before. We've had a franchise left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
but again, man, it just goes back. And Fitterer did say today they believe last season they put a lot of effort into their defense. This season they're putting a lot of effort, into the offensive line and the defense. Fitterer said this morning he believes that once they get to a point where you can drop a really good quarterback into this football team, he thinks that this is a legitimate contender waiting to happen. And
poor Sam.
He might not be wrong in that evaluation. Real quick, let me add Brad to the discussion. Brad, what's going on, dude?
Oh, I just got off work a little earlier than I expected, so I figured I'd pop in here for a little bit.
Cool, man. Nice. So, we haven't gotten your opinion on this yet. What do you think the Panthers are going to do at quarterback? That's what we're talking about today, man. Lots of different options, and all of those options seem to be as good as any one of the others. Like, there's a case to be made for all of them. So, where do you sit on this issue?
I honestly think that they are going to roll into Sam Darnold being the quarterback going into next season. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they probably want to have Cam back, but it sounds like they've already kind of had discussions and extended him an offer, but he doesn't want to come back to this shit show, right? He doesn't want to come back to a team that's going to go 5-12. And, he also probably doesn't want to ride the bench behind Sam Darnold. I think he wants to go somewhere and start. And even if that means that he's just a bridge quarterback, right? There are certain things about, like, I would love Malik Willis. I think if you want to go get Malik Willis, then there's a couple things you have to do, right? You have to assume at this point there's a real chance that Detroit's going to take Malik Willis. I mean, that's a real possibility. So if you want Malik Willis, you want to be sure you're going to get him, you need to be on the horn with Jacksonville like yesterday.
Yes, Brad, I said this on Twitter, dude, and everyone wanted to roast me and tell me how stupid I am and how dumb I am. But dude, if you're the Panthers and you don't at least do your due diligence and see how much that pick costs, if you do love one of those quarterbacks, then you're not doing your job properly.
Right. And the reality is, like, I think, like I said, I think that I don't think they're going to take Willis purely because he cannot, if they take Willis and they expect him to come in and start day one, and I could be wrong, but like most people who are evaluating have said that's not going to happen, and you're going to actually be a detriment to that young man's development. So I just don't know. I don't think they're going to take Willis. I think if they're going to take a quarterback, it's going to be probably Kenny Pickett because he's the most quote unquote pro ready guy. They're looking for somebody who can beat Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
I think that Kenny Pickett could probably beat Sam Darnold out for that job, but I don't know. It's just a sticky situation because, they're really doing a good job of not really giving away what their draft plan is. They're talking, oh, we love all these quarterbacks and we like these tackles, and I mean, so I don't know I don't know if they're saying we love quarterback because they're trying to smoke screen really aggressively and get somebody to try and jump them, but it sounds like we're either doing one of three things. We're either taking a quarterback, we're taking a left tackle, or we're trading back. And those are the only three scenarios, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're debating in your head whether or not to take Evan Neal or Malik Willis,
you take Evan Neal, honestly.
Yeah. Why are
you projected to go first, though, bro?
I was just gonna say, like, what does that say about that quarterback that you're debating?
Yeah, but Evan Neal was projected to go first, though, like first pick.
I know. He's not.
Are you all? Let me ask you this. Are you all willing to, in the event that this happens, wear the egg on your face? If, for example, the Pittsburgh Steelers come up,
Steelers are a better team.
But hold on though. But this is what I'm saying though, right? Like forget Pittsburgh. Let's say Atlanta. They move up and draft Malik Willis.
They got a better coach.
Or let's say Malik Willis falls and Malik Willis goes to New Orleans. Are you okay with him going to our division rival? So the Panthers denying us of a franchise left tackle for so long has left us so thirsty for one that my fear is that we're going to be so desperate to right this wrong that we could potentially pass up on another franchise quarterback that is sitting right there for us to pick. I'm worried that could happen to us.
Well, and I think that the reality is that we're gonna let's be real here, right? If Malik Willis was in last year's draft class, he would have gone in the second round.
Yeah.
If Malik Willis was in next year's draft class, he's probably going in the second round because next year you're going to have CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. So it begs the question, like, it kind of goes back to that whole statement of like, what's the plan? Because there's no clear plan, right? They've addressed free agency and the draft like they're ready to go win now. That's the way that they're playing this.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have the quarterback position, so by default, they're not ready to go win now. They're just not, and it's a weird gamble because like if you choose Malik Willis, then the plan is basically to sit him for a year and take the next year and on the nose. That's just the reality, right? If that's what's going to happen, then there's a high probability, unless Tepper's already told Matt Rule, you know what, you can suck this year, I don't care, you do whatever, right? But if he hasn't, then you're basically saying you're packing it in and saying that you're going to give Malik Willis to whoever the next coach of the Carolina Panthers is, and he might not want Malik Willis. I mean, that's just a reality.
But let's just say, if you drafted Neal, and now you don't have a quarterback, or you draft one maybe later. But I'm saying you go with Neal, and so you're just gonna go roll it out with Darnold next year. I don't see how they could do that.
I don't pretend. I'm not going to pretend to know what the
line will be fixed though.
I'm not going to pretend to know what the coaches think, but I really do, like, based on the comments they've made in pressers and whatnot, I really think that, look at what they were talking about with Sam Darnold. They want to reduce his number of pre-snap reads. They want to make the game easier.
His fifth year, what a joke.
I really think that they believe if they can take the game away from Sam Darnold as much as possible, that they can win. I don't.
But real quick, I wanted to take a second to add a guest to this discussion. Our man Noah from the Cat Calls. Noah, are you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, Noah?
What's up?
Hey, man, what do you think? Let's continue this quarterback conversation. You made a good point there, Brad. You were talking about, would the Panthers be willing to take one on the chin, to develop, a quarterback? I think that's kind of the only real option that Matt Rule has left, right? What is a more win right now move that the Carolina Panthers can make? Like, that's what I dare anyone on this panel to tell me. What is the fastest route at quarterback to making the Panthers a legitimate contender? Because if you ask David Tepper and Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer, after the free agency that they just had and that they're still in the middle of, they think that this team can take a step forward this next year if they just upgrade that quarterback position. So what is the best possible upgrade that can be made this year without having to look forward to next year's draft?
You know what I can say about that? I think that the best thing that we can really do at this point is try to go get Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis. I think that we can get a left tackle from a different team. I don't think we have to get it in this draft.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Me and Noah are pretty much on the same team, man. That's like, and also to add to that too, a lot of us still have a lot of belief that Brady Christensen can be a franchise left tackle. Cool. So it almost makes me less, in a rush to want to draft a left tackle, even though I like a lot of those guys as well.
Cody, so you're asking the best situation to like win right now. That's your
the best situation. The best.
So I would say the last guy that took us to the playoffs. The last guy that took us to the playoffs.
Okay, I would say go Kyler Murray if you think you're ready to go now, ready to compete.
That's another option too, to go Kyler Murray.
They think they're ready. They think they're in line to compete for a championship and get Kyler
$50 million a year.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't think. Here's the problem with Kyler Murray, right? The talent's there. The athleticism is there. He is a legitimate franchise quarterback, but he's also a legitimate franchise quarterback who doesn't play a full 17-game season ever.
Yeah, and he's like 3 foot tall.
I don't think he's actually leaving the Cardinals at all. Anyway.
I think he's looking for $50 million a year guaranteed, and I 100%. Think that whoever pays
we don't have that type of money to give him for what he's doing on the Cardinals.
You're right, Noah.
Hey, real quick, I want to add 2 people back. Welcome Drew back to the conversation. Guys, keep pounding background. Happy to see. And also Connor, welcome Connor back to the free for all. Connor, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Chilling, talking about this quarterback conversation. So yeah, let's keep the discussion going here. And this is like, I feel like I'm challenging everyone directly. Okay, this is a challenge because you need to sell me on what is the best route for the Panthers fielding a competent offense this year at quarterback. What is the best possible move the Panthers can make at the quarterback position? Because I feel like it's all good answers and all bad answers too, because they all have their pluses and minuses. So
what I would do,
what's the best way to do this?
What I would do is I would actually draft a quarterback in the draft. I would prefer Malik Willis, but I will not be upset if they take Kenny Pickett. Personally, I don't think Malik Willis is going to be there, so I would not be upset with Kenny Pickett. But I would also go out and get a veteran quarterback off the street. If Cam Newton was who I want, that's who I want. But Scott Fitterer said today Cam has to want to be here. That tells me they're offering him a contract, but he has yet to sign it. So Cam has to want to be here.
$20 million to have Darnold sit on the bench. What are you doing? No, because all you had to do, if you look at Darnold's numbers,
you're going to pay Sam Darnold anyway.
Look at Darnold's numbers at the beginning of last year when you had CMC playing healthy and you had him protected and you could get the ball out of his hands earlier. He played good football. He played playoff contending football.
Against three horrible teams. Against three
horrible teams. $20 million. You want to go spend money on somebody else and take the chance that that's not going to work?
They've blown more than $20 million.
Atlanta's
the last
paying Matt
5
Ryan
years
$40 million to pay for a different team.
Yeah, but that was
that's my question.
Give them just the draft picks for the future. That's why they did that, because they know they're nowhere near being anywhere in the playoffs this year. So they said, you know what? We have no chance of being in the playoffs with the rest of the team, even if we have our franchise quarterback still. So why not get some draft picks for him? He's only got a year or two left.
Win, bro.
Hold on, though. Hold on. But hold on, I have to push back on that though, because again, I feel like there's a disconnect from what us as jaded Carolina Panther fans feel about our chances next year, and what the Panthers actually feel about their chances next year.
I think the Panthers have a chance, and I'm not a Panthers fan.
But yeah,
I'm the one person here who I'm not a Panthers fan, but you guys have a great team built, and it's just a matter of what you're going to do. Are you going to strengthen other areas and hold what you and just sit? I mean, if you want to pay for a cheap quarterback, that might be a long shot, but gets in there, beats Darnold out, and plays fine. But other than that, sit. Next year you have so many quarterbacks coming out. If you don't get anywhere this year, then Darnold comes off. That $20 million is free agent money that you have for other people, and then you can go in the draft and you're getting a franchise quarterback guaranteed. Much higher floors next year for all of your top quarterbacks.
But that's even if you're in the so the problem that I've been having with that though is there's no guarantee that the Panthers are going to be in range to grab their preferred quarterback next year. Like we just have no idea. We have no idea what this season is going to look like.
I'm not going to calculate next year till next year gets here, because next year may not look as good as it does right now. That's just a fact.
The reality of the matter is, guys, if they win if they would do another 5-12, like they probably will. That roster is good, but let's be honest here. If Sam Darnold is the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, there's a 5-12 is as good as you're going to get, right? That's just
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't. Sam Darnold. That's why
Sam Darnold's not going to start.
I would draft a rookie. Now, if you draft, okay, for example, you say you draft Kenny Pickett, and you line him up against Sam Darnold to compete. I personally think Kenny Pickett will whip Sam Darnold myself, but I would want a more established veteran quarterback behind both of them. Then, at the very least, to point him in the right direction.
I think Carson Strong over Sam Darnold.
But Kenneth, who when you say a veteran to kind of bring along the rookie, is that Cam Newton in your eyes? Who is that?
That would be good. That would be fine with me. But my problem is if you draft Kenny Pickett, you still have Sam Darnold on this roster. How are you going to convince Cam Newton to come and be a backup quarterback or even compete with both of them?
Right.
That's a good point.
I mean, Cam. I think if Cam was willing, he would already be here. I don't think the problem is the office ain't offering him enough money. I think the problem is Cam Newton doesn't want to be here under the current quarterback rule.
Who does?
So Cody,
that's a good question.
That's
very good question.
Who does?
Well, at the same time, you would think they would all want to be.
I wouldn't be surprised if Malik Willis
taking the starting job.
Any of them. Willis now want to play for us. If we
on, guys.
Willis, watch him demand a trade.
Guys, hold up. We've all been talking over each other all night. We got to do one at a time. Fred was talking first. Fred, you go.
So we'll
here's
go to
the
Fred.
situation with your draft and your backup sitting behind them. Like that's the best one you can get. If they are able to draft Malik Willis, and that is the way that they decide to go. Not saying they should or shouldn't. This is just the scenario. If they do, Cam Newton will be the backup behind him because Cam Newton is the best person to have behind him because they're so much alike. If they draft Kenny Pickett, Cam Newton will not sign. Cam Newton will not come back unless they get rid of Darnold. But Cam Newton is the person you want behind him because Cam Newton is a different type of quarterback. Right.
That's a good
Cam
point.
Newton's a different type of quarterback. He's not going to be a good quarterback to have sitting behind to sit behind Malik Willis, or Kenny Pickett. He's good for Malik Willis. It's the same thing you see with all these other teams. They change their backups, and some of them will put big money into a veteran backup just to have because they fit the form of what they want their quarterback to become and exceed.
Yeah. Hey, let me go to Drew real
Cam
quick.
Newton is only good to sit behind Willis.
No, I do think that is a good point too, and I would even say vice versa. Again, man, I don't know what everyone's opinion on Cam Newton is. I refuse to say that Cam Newton is done until I at least give him what Jameis Winston got last season and will get again this season. And then that's just an off season, a chance to actually, have a good offensive line in front of him, a chance to get on rhythm with his receivers, an actual opportunity at being on a good football team. And part of the reason I'm okay with it is because I'm not asking Cam Newton to be our long-term savior like he had to be back during his original tenure with the Panthers. I wanted to go to Drew because I don't think we got Drew's opinion on what he thinks the Panthers should do at the quarterback position. Drew, lots of different options, lots of different roads and ways we could go. What are you thinking from your perspective on what the Panthers should do?
Now, my question is this to you, Cody. Do you want to know what they should do or what they probably will do?
Oh, give me what they will do, and then give me what they should do.
What they will do is they'll draft Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
And Cam Newton, and as Fred said, Cam Newton will not sign here. So you're going to go into the season with Kenny Pickett and Sam Darnold battling out for the starting job. That's what they 90% probably will do.
Okay. Now, what do you think they should do?
What they should do is sign Dwayne Brown to play left tackle, draft Malik Willis, and sign Cam Newton to start this coming season and have Malik sit behind Cam like Trey Lance sat behind Jimmy Garoppolo last year in San Francisco. That's what they should do. Because if you want to win, then you want Cam Newton behind that upgraded offensive line and all those weapons.
Yeah.
And let Malik see what it is from the sidelines and in the quarterback room, what it's like to be a professional. Then you let Malik take over the following season.
Yeah, so we'll go to Noah and then Connor. So go ahead, Noah.
But what about if we can't get Malik Willis? I mean, our best second option would be Kenny Pickett, right?
It would be Kenny Pickett, but Cam Newton won't sign here. Cam Newton won't sign until after the draft, so he knows what we have in the quarterback line.
Yeah.
Hey,
Connor, I saw you raising your hand. What did you want to chime in with?
So this actually is not quarterback related, but I had this question on Tuesday, and I don't think you guys got to me. But anyway, so is there any? So you know about how the Bucs got Shaq Mason for like a 5th round pick or something, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Cody, did you hear that?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
What good offensive linemen are out there that would take like a future 3rd round pick or something like that?
It's not that. It's the money, bud. It's all about the cap. That's why the Patriots gave Shaq Mason up so cheap. He's top 4 rated guard, and he's one of the top paid guards. They did it to open up money. You'd have to take on, I think he's like 16 or 17 million a year. You'd have to take on your cap. That's the problem with guards like that.
And you got to get under the cap by a certain date.
I do think that the 2 offensive linemen that the Panthers did sign in Bradley Bozeman and Austin Corbett, they ended up being on good deals. Like they don't really hurt us long term from a salary cap perspective.
We can draft some and more in the draft too.
What is Andrew Whitworth's cap at? Just
he retired.
He retired.
Yeah, he retired.
I didn't even hear that. I thought that.
It kind of came and went.
Retired.
He retired. Went out with the Super Bowl victory.
Against the team that drafted him.
Yeah, right. Against the team that drafted him.
That was kind of crazy.
And then Lael, and that's another thing too, man.
I like that idea. Signing Eric Flowers. I like that idea.
So listen, like the further the Panthers continue into this free agency without signing either a left tackle or a quarterback, it just continues to make those 2 the only options that the Panthers are going to draft at 6. You know what I mean? Like,
did Eric Flowers sign anywhere yet?
Did who?
Eric Flowers. He just got.
Yeah, he's available. He's available. It's just setting free
he's
agency.
available, and he I don't think he's going to demand big money this year because he had a down year last year.
I would sign him myself and put him right over in that left guard spot, and he could compete with Brown. Myself.
Does he play? Does he play left tackle? Does he play left tackle or right tackle?
He was drafted as a tackle, but he failed. But
yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Miami kicked him into guard. I believe I'm right. When Miami kicked him into guard, he played really good the last few years at guard.
No, he just he was with the Chiefs. The Chiefs just cut him.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of he wasn't 100%, but like you got to give now. You're giving him an actual the following offseason off to.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles like the AFC Championship, so he missed basically the whole year last year.
Are you talking about Fisher or Eric Flowers?
No,
Flowers.
Eric Flowers.
Oh, no, you don't want Flowers, bro.
Yeah, he was originally drafted by the Giants, wasn't he?
He was,
yeah.
He was.
And then he did not play well there. And then he ended up at some point, moving to guard, and he kind of had a resurgence.
But he's definitely a flyer worth you guys looking at. He'll be better than some of the backups you have anyway, and he's not going to be big money.
That's true.
Who's the starting left guard right now?
And the guy we drafted.
We don't know. That's the thing, though. The entire left side of the Panthers' offensive line is a question mark.
Depends if they get a left tackle in the draft or if they sign one.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I just want to let you know the only reason that it is as big of a question mark as it is because Matt Rule did not give Brady Christensen enough time to hold it down last season. Imagine this. Imagine knowing right now that Brady Christensen was your left tackle going forward. Let's say he had a good
our offensive line is finished. I mean, our offensive line is good.
Well, maybe you need after the two things that we did. Yeah, I mean, maybe you draft one in the third or fourth. Yeah, all of a sudden this offensive line, it does not look as bad as it did before. Also, I'll continue to say this man's name until he either proves me right or disappears. That's the name, Deontay Brown. I would not be surprised if our left side of our offensive line ends up being Brady Christensen at left tackle and Deontay Brown at left guard. I think that could be a good formation for us.
I still think we need to draft at least 2 offensive linemen in the draft.
We're not going to get that done with also drafting a quarterback.
I feel like
there's a lot of
we can get a left tackle in second round.
What are you saying, Noah? Go ahead, Noah.
I think we can get a left tackle in the second round.
We don't have a second
round. That's true.
But we don't have a second round or a third round.
He's been wasted on Sam Darnold.
Our second round pick was Sam Darnold, and our third round pick was a corner.
So basically,
speaking of which,
you can show up for opening night, the first round of the draft, and then come back in day 3.
As of right now.
Just sign Dwayne Brown and put an angle.
You said, Kenneth, as of right now, what are they going to trade? If they're going to take a player at 6, they can't trade McCaffrey now. They can't trade Bobby Anderson now.
I think they could. I think people's got that misunderstood. There are 2 different types of re-signings. Okay, one re-signing is extend the contract out. The other is what they call a simple restructure, and they just change the format. They remove money from the base salary and put it at bonus, and that's all they do. Which basically, instead of McCaffrey, for example, because I don't know how much you made, instead of making $12 million, he's going to make $6 million, and then they're going to write him a different check of $6 million for his.
But if you trade McCaffrey after that restructure, you're in the negative. As far as cap space.
Not no more as you would have been before.
No, because you got to give it up front, bro.
Simple restructure. It doesn't hurt anything more on a simple restructure.
Like, look, at this point, the sheer hope of Christian McCaffrey maybe playing healthy is almost worth it enough just to see if it can happen.
Yeah,
like that's one of the only allures.
The person they trade. if they trade a player, and I'm saying if, because chances are they won't, but if they trade a player, I believe it's going to be Robbie Anderson. Because right now there's a lot of teams wanting wide receivers.
Green Bay. He restructured too.
Yep.
Yeah, he did, but like I said, it was a simple restructure. There's a difference. The cap guy on Twitter was talking about it. There's a difference. There's a difference between the two, and there's a good link to post to it. That it does. Most of the time, if a team asks a player to restructure their contract, they don't have any idea to trade him. But unless they know in advance that a team says, "Well, we'd take him, but we don't want that kind of money on the books," because your base salary affects the books, not your bonus salary.
And one more thing I want to mention, and then I want to get into this mock draft that we're going to do here. One of the things that Fitterer said today in his press conference is that they want to create a culture where the guys that we draft and the guys that work their butts off for the Carolina Panthers, we reward them and we pay them and we reward all their hard work. They look at Dante Jackson, DJ Moore, and Christian McCaffrey as an extension of that, right? Like that's the only way you're going to build another culture like we had with Greg Olsen and Ryan Khalil and
winning franchises
and Thomas Davis. But I mean, you just have to continue to make these players that you draft continue to make them a long-term name for your football team. And I think that's another reason why they wouldn't be interested in trading McCaffrey. Like that's the homegrown talent, man. He might not be healthy very much, but when Christian McCaffrey is healthy, it's like that's one of the better offensive players in all of football. So
Christian McCaffrey had more total yards than Robbie Anderson, even though Robbie Anderson had 17 games.
Yeah.
Cody?
Go ahead, Connor. Yep.
So I just want to let you know this. I'm watching the stream on my iPad, and someone's spamming in the chat. By the way.
Yeah, I see him.
Cam Newton.
I appreciate you, bro. I'll take care of it.
Sorry.
Cam Newton spamming in the chat. Can you imagine if it was
spam?
Can you imagine if it was actually Cam Newton?
I wish.
Yeah,
it's a good spam.
We need a petition. We need a petition for Cam Newton to look at and saying the fans want you. Who gives two damns about what?
Can I say one more thing though?
Yeah, go ahead, Noah.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
What about if we get Cam Newton but he don't play? Like
so you mean like last year when he played Sam Darnold instead of Cam Newton? I think is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's a possibility of that, man. If I'm being real, like, and I think that's what guys are talking about when they say, does Cam Newton want to be a Carolina Panther after a lot of the stuff that he had to go through last year? And that's a good question, man. That is a very good question. But all right, gentlemen, let's jump into a mock draft before we get out of here. For those who want to participate, if you haven't seen us do this before, we just go through a mock draft knowing everything we know about the Panthers right now, all their free agency signings and what they've done. And we just go through it, man. We have a discussion and we draft as your boys would see fit. So with that said, let's jump into it. As always, I'm just the hands, y'all. Y'all tell me what you're feeling like, and that's what we'll do, man. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's start the draft. Okay. So the instant trade that we're getting to Seattle, they want to move up, so that's probably for a quarterback. We don't know who. Third round pick that they're also going to give us, and a 4. So we would recoup a 3rd and a 4 in order to get our 6th pick. And then the Texans, they want to move from 13, which they just acquired, for Deshaun Watson. And they want to give us a 2nd and a 4th round pick. Now, do you want to see what's on the board? Or
see what's on the board
first?
All right, so we're going to counter. So if it would take any of the offers, it would be Seattle. So that's the one that I chose to counter. Let's hide this. So Fitterer mentioned edge rusher, and you have Kevin Thibodeau up still on the board. You have Charles Cross, the offensive tackle, still on the board. Trayvon Walker, and of course Malik Willis is still on the board.
Malik Willis. Y'all want to trade back to 13 or whatever it was?
Well, you know what? A lot of us here think that Malik and Cam is kind of the answer for next year. What if we did that this week?
Right.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Kind of plan for what we're all kind of thinking.
Right.
Try to trade up instead of trading down right now. Try to trade up for picks in the future. Well, not right now, but.
Yeah. No, you're right though. I mean, potentially, if we do like one of those quarterbacks and we feel like they're not going to be there by the time we pick at 6, yeah, potentially. So do y'all want to do that? Y'all want to draft as though we're going to get Malik Willis and then put him behind Cam Newton?
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's do it. Malik Willis, you are the pick at 6. Now, the only thing to that though,
sit back and wait.
Is you have to wait until 3rd round.
Trade up though before we get to the 3rd round. Try and trade up.
Well, so we're gonna. Well, who are we trading up for?
I'm not sure. If you see somebody that you like in the 2nd round, maybe. Just try and offer them some future picks and.
Yeah, so normally we would be receiving trade offers right now.
Kenny Pickett went from the Lions.
Yeah, the 32nd pick too, man. That's kind of crazy. Matt Corral still on the board too. That's an interesting one.
I feel like Corral had
there's a lot of draft experts that are saying that Howell would be better than some of these
Howell
other
went to the
Saints.
Saints.
Falcons.
Oh wow, Sam Howell went to the Saints.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of Sam Howell, man. He has a good arm, but I see a lot of inconsistency.
I saw him play against South Carolina in the bowl, man.
I've watched a little bit of him myself, and I don't see where their praise is.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Hey, trade up. Paul's draft. Dang it, he's gone. Never mind. I was going to do it. Darian Kennard or whoever it is.
Oh, Darian Kennard. Yeah, that would have been a good pick too.
I saw him up there.
Yep.
Well, the trade up though, you're going to end up giving up picks either this draft or next draft, and to trade up like that, you're going to have to give up a lot of picks this year.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll end up trading picks next year, and that's kind of.
Troy Anderson went off the board.
Of course he did, man.
Yep.
What pick are they in? Oh, we still got another 20 picks.
Yep.
We're in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Yep. We should be coming up sometime soon.
Well,
I told you, man, that's the only thing about it though, man. If you do wait to pick, you're not going to be picking until round 3.
Here we go. Make sure there's an auto pick.
I know. I'll do what I can. All right.
How far?
Hey, Pittsburgh wants us to go back 1 pick and pick up an extra 6 or 7. You want to do
it.
Is that all we're giving up? Is it 1?
Who's on the board first?
Yeah, just the 1.
Oh,
no. A 4.
Oh,
no. So we're giving up this pick right here, and we're also giving up 144.
No.
I don't know. We do pick back to back. Right now, this is a good opportunity for us to pick up 2 good players back to back.
Yeah.
So I kind of think maybe we shouldn't do that pick.
Yeah.
He was on the board first.
Did they add punters?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
They did.
Don't tell Matt Rule that.
Oh, that's that big leg punter from San Diego State, man. Oh, that's funny. All right, so we can go interior offensive
Our
lineman.
punter, we signed a free agent. It's about 120.
Yeah.
Hey, so on the board right now, we have Tyrese Robinson, Jerome Ford from Cincinnati, Tyrese Robinson. I like him as an offensive line prospect from
I think that's the guy
Oklahoma.
you take.
Let's draft the punter.
We just got Johnny Hecker.
Let's draft the punter.
Matt Rule.
Yeah, that's true, man. No,
literally be
that's true,
smoking
dude. We
something
did
to do
draft.
that.
We did draft Johnny Hecker. That was a surprise signing. I didn't think that we would make. But so what do you want to do here, man? Linebacker. Let's see who's available for linebackers.
That's a long way, though.
So Damon Clark is
Yeah.
probably still going to be available the next time we draft.
Dang, he fell.
Let me see. Cornerback.
We don't need another corner.
Yeah, we're not hurting
Yeah.
at the.
I also like that Keith Taylor. I think that
Yeah,
he's also.
true.
I mean, he could be pretty
Yeah.
good.
How about edge rusher?
See what kind of edge rusher out there.
Dominic Robinson out of Miami, 6'5", 255 pounds. Is a developmental base 3-4 rush linebacker is what the draft network has him listed.
I'd take the
as.
guard out of Oklahoma.
Sounds like our defense, 3-4 linebacker.
So my vote is either for
Tyrese Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Tyrese Robinson.
He can compete with that starting guard.
Yeah, I'm telling you though, I do like Kobe Bryant, the corner out of Cincinnati. But yeah, let's just
We don't
continue.
need another corner. We're
Yeah,
stacked.
you're right. You're right.
He
You're
can
right.
start.
All right, we're okay
Sterling.
with the offensive line here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. All right, Tyrese Robinson, you are the pick. Now we're about to be on the board again. No,
Yeah.
there's no one we want to come up for. All right, we are on the board by vote.
Samir White's still there. Oh, we got Foreman.
Yeah, we do. We have Foreman. We have Christian.
I don't want to
McCaffrey,
take a single running back in this draft.
You sound like
That's a
Kevin,
wasted
man.
pick in my opinion.
There you go.
Kevin, you and this guy.
I mean,
Cody,
you want to trade
is
back?
that corner still there?
Is who?
I would trade back.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant still there. Yeah.
Cody.
And then we have another pick, and we have another pick. Well, we have another pick at 149 too.
I don't really see anybody we would take here. I think we should trade back and get extra.
How
picks.
about we do this? I mean, we have 3 picks, or we have 2 more picks right here. Why don't we just do Kobe Bryant just for depth, and then at the linebacker position at 149, we'll go Damon Clark out of LSU.
What is Kobe going to be doing though for like the next 2 years, 2 or 3 years?
Hey, Karen makes a good point. Let's look at the safeties real quick to see who's on the board.
I feel like at this
I
point,
think Weatherford.
We actually need some depth at safety because Justin Burris. I hope he gets. I don't want him on his team. Period.
I say Weatherford
and Melvin. What's his name? Melvin something.
All right. So would y'all prefer?
He
Would
works
you
too much.
prefer to do Sterling
no.
Weatherford over Kobe Bryant?
I mean, Kobe Bryant
What
seems
about-
like
Yeah.
a luxury pick.
What about JT Woods?
Yeah.
I think we should go Kobe Bryant.
Look up JT Woods.
Because like
Damn.
you say we're deep at corner, but are we really though?
I mean, we got 3 starting.
We also don't
Bro,
know if so we know we have C.J. Henderson, J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson now. So yeah, we are kind of
And
deep.
Keith Taylor. I really like Keith Taylor. I think he could be good.
Yeah.
We might bring back
And he
Gilmore
started to
too.
perform pretty well at the end of the season. It seemed
Yeah,
like.
and Keith Taylor and Stephon Gilmore potentially coming back too.
We're not getting Gilmore. He's gonna
Yeah,
take
they did
if
say
we-
they met with him, so you never know. But no, I kind of
They went to dinner, bro.
They went to dinner, but I kind of think that they might go with the young.
Oh,
guys.
now wait a minute. They didn't actually go to dinner. They saw each other while they were at dinner. They didn't actually go to dinner.
True.
Let's be
So
clear.
if I'm being real here, I kind of think I would prefer Sterling Weatherford over Kobe Bryant. Let's see how they stack up. Kobe Bryant is ranked 141 and Weatherford is 150. So Kobe Bryant is the better value pick. I don't know. What would y'all prefer to do right here?
I mean, I would
Kobe
say
Bryant,
trade
Weatherford.
back, get some extra picks.
We need to draft Cam Jurgens. doing them frog jumps at his pro day was cool.
Oh, good call. I didn't even see Juergens on the board. That's depth, and you only have Bozeman for 1 year, too.
Right.
Good call.
Did y'all see them frog jumps at his pro day?
Juergens?
Yeah, it's on Twitter. It's somebody actually.
I
Stephon
hadn't
Gilmore
seen this.
posted it on Tro. It's really cool, Cody. He does.
I need to check it out. No, that dude is a freak athlete.
Yeah,
man.
he
I
does
know,
these cool frog jumps. He jumps 2 yards on his frog jumps.
Yeah,
he gets off the line like that. Great day alive.
He's a good player. So, what would y'all rather do? Let's
Don't
let's
you
take a
think-
vote. Who
Don't
says
you
we
think we should
go?
get a wide receiver? Because Tyreek just came to Miami. I mean, I think we're gonna play him, and I think that we should get somebody that can keep up with Tyreek.
He's
means,
got a point though. If we get rid of Anderson, which we're probably gonna do,
And we might have just lost Shi Smith.
Bill's got a point.
Shi Smith might spend some time in a pen.
He's done, man.
All right, so what y'all want to do? We have a bunch
I
of
want
different
Cam
options.
Juergens. That's who I want.
I'll go with Cam Juergens. I'm cool with.
I hear two for Cam Juergens. Any
Wide
other?
receiver does seem kind of like a luxury pick, so I'll go Juergens.
I think we should go Cam Darnold.
All right, man. It seems like the room came back around. Cam Juergens is the pick. I like that too. And we're about to be on the board again. All right, look, we're on the board. So
is that receiver still there?
Bo Melton is nope. He literally just went one pick earlier to the Bears.
Look at receiver.
So-
Look who's still there for receiver.
Receivers.
Just look.
Damian Gray, Justin Ross from Clemson. I know this man very well. Would have been a number one, or would have been a first round pick if he would have.
I think we should go Justin Ross.
No, not shut up, Kevin.
You agreed.
No.
So this what you got? There's Ross. He'd have been a
What
first
is
round
this
pick if it is safe went with somebody else. Or
he had a better quarterback.
Justin
Still not getting drafted.
Justin
Nobody's
Ross
gonna
had
draft that poor punter.
Justin Ross had 2 injuries that he had to come back from, but he sliced up Alabama and all of the ACC for that matter his rookie season at Clemson, or his freshman season rather. Yeah. All right, so Kobe Bryant still on the board. Another name I want to throw out there.
Let's just pretend
Clark.
like
Yeah,
CJ
Clark.
Henderson is an absolute fail.
That dude was.
But another Damon Clark.
oh yeah, he played in the SEC. He good.
He was supposed to be a number 1 pick before the season. They projected him to be a number 1 pick.
Damon Clark is another guy that has a ton of upside. I think you would be able to use him in a bunch of different ways. And I do think at some point you might be able to put him at Mike's linebacker and let him be able to thrive there.
I don't like Mike at his rookie year.
So either my vote is either Damon Clark or Kobe Bryant. I got
Clark. Damon Clark.
Yeah,
I've seen his
I'm on Clark. What is that what y'all want to do too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Boom. Let's go. Damon Clark. Here we go. All right. Draft is looking pretty good. Malik Willis, Tyrese Robinson, Cam Juergens,
We got
Damon
2
Clark.
alignment of the future of Chris.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. That's perfect for us.
Of course, you can't really say that there are offensive linemen of the future if they don't play down in their rookie season. My guess
True.
is you guys can refer to what. My guess is you guys know what I'm referring to.
Oh yeah, Brady Christensen and Deontay
Mr.
Brown,
Matt
man.
Gould.
Not giving them their opportunity. And another thing is too, like we just drafted Cam Juergens. What happens if Bradley Bozeman goes down and gets hurt?
Right.
You have another
You
guy
gotta think
that's
about
gonna be able
that
to step
because
in.
offensive linemen they get hurt. These guys get hurt a lot.
And Bradley Bowman only signed a 1-year deal. I sure hope we re-sign him, but
I go Jeffrey Gunner.
Hey, that punter finally got picked.
Yeah, he literally just got picked too.
I
He's
go
probably
Jeffrey
gonna
Gunner.
get kicked by.
Cody.
My guess is he's probably gonna get kicked by. Doug Peterson. Probably gonna get kicked in the leg.
Yeah, he's not another Urban Meyer.
For not being able to punt the ball any far.
So the options for the Panthers right now, Tariq Carpenter is the safety prospect.
I say Gunther.
That would be pretty good with us.
The edge Coastal.
Jeffrey Gunther.
Yeah,
I like that name, Jeffrey Gunther.
He
6'4",
destroys Zach
260
Wilson.
pounds. Ooh, all right. So
he would be like Hassan Reddick for us, like a poor man.
Nick Grant, kind of undersized, but still a good player. Tariq Carpenter is.
I think we should go Tariq Carpenter. I think he's probably a good person for the Carolina Panthers.
Tariq Carpenter. Do y'all want to look at that wide receiver position?
Yeah, look at the receiver. Look at the receiver.
Reggie Robinson Jr. Oh, remember the fast dude out of Baylor?
Oh yeah, well, let's draft him. Let's draft him. I'm all for him. Let's draft
How many
him.
picks we got?
So
yeah,
let's just look and see what we would. Whatever, I'll just pick the Colts. We have 2 more picks. We have this one, and we have one in the 7th.
See if we can trade our 6 for both theirs.
Draft Thornhill.
But see if they'll do
Yeah,
what now?
if we trade our 6th pick for both their 6th and 7th pick.
Nope.
Nope, they don't like that one.
So
I'd draft Thornhill though.
You want to do Taquan Thornton?
Yeah.
Because we're picking 199 right now, and he's ranked 213, so he's probably not going to be on the board.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's do it. Taquan Thornton, Baylor connection, baby.
Tyreek Hill 2.0.
Yep.
Just one round later.
Oh my bad, yo.
He's the replacement for.
Hey, I didn't even know that KPM was in the building. KPM, what's up, man?
Imagine forgetting about the loyal viewer.
Oh man, I'm sorry, dude. Multitask.
I've been waiting for like 20 minutes, by the way.
Oh God,
my bad, dude. Have you really? And
Yeah,
you know what? Though, they need to do a better job. StreamYard needs to do a better job of letting me know when someone pops up.
Cody Lashley.
Hey, next time, hit up on the chat and let some folks know you're there, and somebody can remind Cody.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just saw your private chat too. All right, so last pick on the board. This would be
We draft a kicker.
Yeah, draft it. We got Gonzalez though.
It doesn't matter. So that's the thing. They added punter, but it doesn't let you pick from punters on this list.
Nice.
Let's draft Smokey.
Smoke Monday.
He's still on the board.
Have we taken a safety yet?
No.
That sounds like the move. Y'all want to do that? Draft
I'm
Smoke
cool with that.
Monday out of Auburn?
Sure. Yeah.
Boom, boom. Let's do it. That's another
Yeah, let's
draft
do it.
in the book. But there you have it, man. Malik Willis,
Before we
Tyrese
head out there, Cody, hit up
Yep.
on Twitter and show this up here, or I can try. That's very cool that Cam Jurgens frog leaping. That's pretty cool.
What happened?
Yeah,
I don't know how that would affect his being playing offensive lineman, but you know.
I'm totally in favor of drafting a backup center. Like,
Same.
early.
Is he a center?
Jurgens?
Wish we could have drafted a backup. Wish we could have drafted a backup kicker.
Right.
You
That
think
would've been
Carolina
nice.
has a chance of getting Tyrann
Hey.
Matthew?
We needed a backup kicker at one point this year.
Yeah, we did. That's what I'm referring to.
Hey, Noah said Tyrann Matthew. I don't know. Maybe Tyrann
That
Matthew.
whole clip summarized up our whole season.
I mean, Tyrann Matthew might want to come here to Carolina, but I think that you won't hear about Tyrann signing until probably after the draft, when a team is just kind of looking to add that final piece. But I think that's what they want Xavier Woods to be.
A player like Tyrann Matthew's caliber, does not want to come to Carolina.
I don't know. Trey Boston was making it sound like it was a done deal on Twitter the other day, but that didn't happen. That kind of fell through. So what are we thinking about this draft, man? You think with all the offseason moves that we made, this is a good looking draft?
Yeah,
I think we trade Robbie Anderson. Now we got a receiver.
I like it.
Yeah, man. I like it. Man. KPM, since you've been waiting and I didn't see you in there again, my apologies, man. What were you thinking about the Panthers? What they're gonna do at the quarterback position this year? Like, are we gonna try and fix it in the draft? Or are we gonna bring someone in? Are we trading for someone?
Yeah, you know, honestly, it's really hard to say what they're wanting to do. You know, like today's presser with Scott Fitterer, he just seemed to like deflect a lot of questions about the uncertainties of the position of quarterback. I mean, like, you know, we had questions asked about Cam, and he's like, well, you know, Cam needs a certain situation, and we need a certain situation to where he could be our quarterback. So in a way, I think that's an excuse for them not to bring back Cam. But honestly, I think the best way they can address the quarterback situation is, you know, we're not going to get any worse than we are now. I think we are built to win maybe 6 or 7 games, and with next year's quarterback class, you know, Stroud and Young, they're going to be going in the top 3. So I think, you know, take your quarterback prospect this year, get a veteran quarterback to work with, maybe bring back Cam. Maybe we'll have probably no other choice but to bring him back.
Yeah, and listen, I think that's a good move, letting Malik Willis learn under Cam Newton, and give Cam a full offseason, and just let Cam know off the jump, like, we're gonna give you one more year to show yourself off to the rest of the NFL, try and win a Super Bowl, try and do every good thing that you have left in the tank. And then after this year, we're going to pass on the reins to Malik Willis. That's my personal favorite move right now. I think that would probably have me the most excited for the season after what we've been able to do in free agency. So I don't know, man. That's definitely going to be interesting to follow going forward, man. Because that's why I wanted to make this the topic today. Because anyone's answers is as good as anyone else's, you know. I mean, who knows what the Panthers are going to do going forward here.
Right.
But,
I thought it was very interesting when Scott Fitterer said Cam has to want to come here. And given the fact that he hasn't talked to Cam, but Matt Rule did. I thought that was very interesting. Tells me that he was offered, and it's just purely my speculation, that Cam was offered a contract, but for maybe the reasons that Cam didn't take it, because he didn't want to come in and be the backup. So he talked to Matt Rule about it, and
I think we're going to trade Robbie Anderson and probably get some of that money back. And I think that we probably can replace somebody else with Robbie Anderson.
And so this is Cam Jurgens, the guy that we just drafted, going through his pro day vibe.
Watch him spin right there.
That dude's like 22 or 23.
Watch him jump like 2 yards.
Doing frog jumps.
Yeah. He might have to play fullback.
Yeah, he might have to. But yeah, man. I think that about does it for another Friday free for all, man. Yeah, Connor, you want to get something in before we jump out of here?
Sorry, my computer just crashed. But
no, you're fine.
I've been having this question on the top of my tongue for the past 30 minutes or so. But
what's up?
do you guys think about after we draft Malik Willis? What would you guys think about letting Deontay Foreman take over the reins after Christian McCaffrey, and we trade McCaffrey and try to get another first-round pick from this year? And with that first-round pick, we take another offensive lineman.
I love that idea, but
the cap, I guess.
No, I don't think a team's going to give you a first-round pick for McCaffrey. No. Scott Fitterer's kind of tried that already, and nobody's wanting to give him a first-round pick for it.
What if we throw in Robbie Anderson also?
Well, that sounds like a good idea to me, but I don't.
The only reason, so I hear you, Connor, about wanting to draft more, first-round offensive linemen. I just really think that one of the selling points of the Panthers right now is, in fact, our offensive weapons. When you add Christian McCaffrey on top of DJ Moore, on top of Robbie Anderson, and while none of those guys are perfect, and they, Christian McCaffrey has injury history, Robbie Anderson has drops.
I can't find a single thing wrong with DJ Moore.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all these different players, when you put them together and you hopefully upgrade the quarterback position, dude, you might have a squad that can really make some moves on offense. Yeah, so,
I get what you're saying.
At this point, like at one point in time, I thought, trade Christian McCaffrey. But now it's like, dude, the prospect of him being healthy for a full year is almost more. It's almost more worth it than taking a gamble on an unproven player in the draft.
Exactly.
At least you know what kind of talent Christian McCaffrey is. But no, it was definitely good for conversation, man. That was a good question. But gentlemen, I think that'll be it. We just did a 2-hour show. That has been another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. Would anybody like to say anything before we jump out of here? Plug anything you guys want to say?
Hold up. I got my audition. I got my audition for the Panthers quarterback video. I can throw. I can do anything you want. I can run.
All right.
Nice.
What's your height?
You look way better than Sam Darnold.
Your handling, you look great. What's your handling? You have small hands.
Draft me.
Yeah, man. Measure your hand from your pinky to your thumb, and we'll get back with you.
It's a bit small.
You got bigger hands than Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, I bet he does, dude. I bet he does. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. I appreciate everyone. At one point in time, we had over 120 viewers. Definitely appreciate that. Hit that like, hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so already.
Subscriber shame.
Yeah, subscriber shame, man. My man CK is not here, but in his spirit, take that shame, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And Panther Nation, until next time, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.